We are live. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kumar Pushpak. I head the team here at Ijona Services. And with me, we have two guests. I mean, Tim is pretty much our own. You probably would be seeing first time for Deepti Gupta. She is a data scientist and she resides in Boston, US. And on the other side of the screen, you see Tim Jerome. He is in Albuquerque, which is a city in New Mexico. Both of you, very warm and wonderful morning.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Kumar, and I'm really glad to be part of this platform. And it's wonderful to meet you, Tim, virtually.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Wonderful. So, what are we going to talk today? Uh, we specifically brought in Deepti. We requested to Deepti to come in and put some ideas and her thoughts from the data science perspective. She herself is a data scientist, is a consultant, and a mentor. She's also a trainer. So we'll have questions around data science primarily, and then we have Tim Jerome, with whom people are already familiar. He is a well known face in the project management space. He is a consultant, trainer, and a mentor as well. So, once again, welcome both of you. And very first question, Deepti, since it's all about data science, could you help us understand, our viewers, what exactly data science mean?
Okay, so data science is like, if you ask me what's basically data science, it's like I'll just say data science is like a very vast ocean, so where we have tons and tons of data getting generated on daily basis. And being a data scientist, we just go mine that data, slice that data, do data scrubbing, manipulation, feature selections, engineering, and make sure that we are able to withdraw the insights from that data, and those insights can be used by all the top managements to take their business decisions effectively. So when we talk about data science, we are mostly talking about four pillars of data science. So being a data scientist, we have to be very good statistically. That's like a known fact because we deal a lot of times with quantitative data. Then having a knowledge, like a domain knowledge, business knowledge about the industries, whatever industries we are working, that's always a bonus point, because more we understand about the industry, more we understand about the problems, more we understand about the data, and we can have the best approach to solve the problems. And then third pillar is about computer science, which deals with a lot of software programming, like we have Python, R, SAS, MATLAB, TensorFlow, PyTorch, and number of machine learning and data science platform available. And then fourth, which is like very important part, if we talk about data science, that's about storytelling. So once we have built our models and algorithm and done with our analysis, we have all the strategies in front of us. Now the time is when we have to explain our output in a form of a stories, right, to an audience who is especially
Mhm.
coming from a non-technical background. So how effective and how beautiful story you can prepare and present it in front of a non-technical audience, that they can understand that how that solution is going to help, in their in solving their business problem. That that is like a key role of a data scientist. So when so long story short, data science is all about doing lot of research in data and finding
Mhm.
the hidden patterns from your data.
Great. You talked about algorithms and mathematics and all, and then you also mentioned somebody who wants to pursue their career in data science may not be necessary that he or she belongs to a technical background. So how does this two sync together? I mean, somebody to accept as a data science as a career, he or she should be good in mathematics or certain areas? Is there a prerequisites?
Yes, Kumar. So statistic is definitely a prerequisite for this profile, because we deal with a lot of algorithms, like we build a lot of neural networks and random forest and do PC analysis and segmentations, SVM algorithms. So we do a lot of algorithms, and based on what problem we have, we come up with different models, different techniques, and every model, every algorithm is, based on a lot of statistic, so especially we have a lot of algorithms which are, like whose backbone is, and like the whole setup of those algorithms is based on linear algebra. We have so many algorithms where we have to understand the probabilities, calculations, integration, differentiation, very well. So definitely I'll say statistic is one of the biggest prerequisite for data science profile. More you understand stats, more you understand numbers, and more you are able to understand that how can I approach that particular quantitative data with these algorithms, better you will be able to correlate your output. So I can definitely recommend that yes, statistic is definitely one of the biggest prerequisite for this particular profile.
Let me ask you this, Dipti. What led you to choose a career in data science, if I have to talk you in particular?
Okay, so that's like a very interesting story. So when I was doing my masters, I was towards the end of my completing my masters, and we have to submit the thesis, to complete our degree. So during that time, I chose a topic known as derivatives, which is more into financial engineering. So in that topic, I dealt with a lot about derivatives and pull option, call option, how the trading things happens in real time, and how with the help of data science and the algorithms, the stock market is tracked and predicted. So it was like a pretty fascinating project for me, and that was like a initial phase of my career when I was dealing with a lot of data, and I was having a good amount of friends who were working already in firms like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and KPMG and IBM, and I got a very good input from them as well, that how can I make this derivatives project as a successful project. And from that time onwards, it fascinates me. I always had that dream that, oh, maybe after doing my masters in finance and operation research, if I get an opportunity to work with similar type of field, I'll be more than happy. And I always love playing with data, and I'm always curious, to know what's happening in the data, and always curious what can I do from that data. So that always intrigued me, and I think that's the reason I was lucky also that I got opportunity to work with KPMG, one of the big four in the world. And I started working as an analyst there in a forensic services department, where I used to deal with a lot of fraud data. So it was like very fascinating thing for me, and and I started loving that how from that data we are mining it, and we are coming up with the hidden patterns in the data, which we would not have done if we would not have done all these algorithms and analysis and all. And then from there my career started, and then I moved to Comviva, which was more into telecom industry. So I dealt with a lot of telecom data there, and then I moved to IBM, where I was working with various verticals like banking and retail and finance. And then currently I'm into Santander, where I am more into risk rating and assessing the fraudulent, assessing the loan default activities, and building lot of machine learning algorithm for the a team to identify that who are the customers who has the high probability of doing default, and if they do default, then what type of loss the organization is going to face. So we work on a lot of LAD and EAD and risk rating sort of models here now.
Right. Deepti, we have a viewer, Rajiv Mehta. He is questioning why black box metaphor in machine learning. Would you like to take that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give answer to the question. I'll give my answer to this particular question to Rajiv, that yes, in machine learning we have that black box thing, because so many algorithms, like let me take an example of neural network, right, which is used very frequently across the industries, because it's algorithm which is data hungry. More data you feed into that algorithm, better analysis and better interpretation that algorithm can give, and display the output. But the problem happens when the interpretation part comes. So you can build a model, you can get the output, but when the interpretation part comes, it's sometimes not very easy. It becomes very complex, that how that model is behaving at the back end. What output the model has thrown to you, how you are going to interpret that output, and how you are going to connect that output to your solution, right? And most of the time, when the production phase comes, when the model has to be implemented, right, at production phase, so that time those models are, many times they are not successful, they are failure. So because of that complexity, sometimes machine learning algorithm definitely falls in the black box thing, because if you have built model and you are not able to interpret that model, you are not able to connect the dots, and explain that stories and put that model in a production phase without any failure, then definitely that is a part of black box thing. So I hope I answered your question, Rajiv.
Rajiv, and everybody out there, if you have any questions, please put into the chat box. We'll take it as and when the time permits. But let me ask you another question, Deepti. You are also a trainer, and you teach data science in particular. What do students experience in data science class? What's your experience says about it?
So I do train, I do provide training in data science platform, mostly in the tools like Python, R, SAS. And when I talk about my experience, I see students coming from different backgrounds. Some people are coming from commerce background, some are coming from science background, engineering background, statistic background. So I always see a mix of, students in data science batches. And what I observe, people who are coming from stats background, right, and people who have a good domain knowledge about the industries, right, they are able to understand and they are able to connect the dots in a better way, and when I provide them real-time industrial projects, right, so like, for example, I'm providing them a real-time industrial project, maybe from a healthcare industry or banking industry. And if these students, they are already coming from those respective industries and they have a solid statistic background. So when I talk about algorithms, I'm talking about, suppose, random forest algorithm or neural network or any algorithm. They are able to connect the things in a better way because they understand the background part of statistics very well. And when we talk about domain knowledge, they understand the industry very well. So they understand data very well. So if you know in and out of data very well, I think it becomes very easy for the participant to connect the dots, right? If I compare the participants who are not coming from stats background and they don't have a good domain knowledge, right? So it's not like that they cannot pick up this thing, right? But it's like they have to put double effort, to make sure that they understand the field very well. They have to make sure that they are able to understand the business and understand and have a good understanding of industrial domain knowledge, and definitely they have to make sure that they start building up their stats background in such a way that they can correlate the data and they can apply the statistic on that data with the algorithms and come up with the insights. So that's my personal experience, which I have seen in my classes. But at the end of the day, I feel it's all about the practice and it's all about the dedication. It's all about your passion. So I have seen so many people who are not coming from that background, but if they have that passion and determination, actually they do best. So it's all about your passion, hard work, determination. You know that, okay, your goal is that, and how you achieve that goal, that's all your determination.
Dedication, passion, and determination. Tim, I would like to ask you on this. You are a trainer on project management space, right? How do you see this data science collaboration in terms of project management?
Well, and again, Kumar, Deepti, I have the same experience as you. We teach an entry level statistics in project management. As an executive, you have to understand the behavior of data and the ability to tease out, what does this mean? And I found two classes of students, just like you, Deepti. There's some students that enter this from a math standpoint and they get it. And I found it's a great leverage point to actually help them understand business and the behavior of business decision making. Now, there's the domain experts, like you said, and that was brilliant, Deepti. You have another set of students that say, I'm really good at business, but what is this statistics? And it's a great entry point to say, this is why the study of math is important. And connecting that reason, that justification for the value of turning data into information that can support better decision making is the art of teaching and introducing people to the analysis of data. You said it really well, Deepti. This is a really interesting set of skills and activity for people who are mathematical analysts, but also for people who understand the value of turning data into, better decisions. It's incredibly priceless.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tim. I really
Right.
appreciate it.
So do you agree, Tim, that your data science is also applied in project management?
Oh, yes. Yes. Everybody who goes into business school, if you go through business school, you know the normal distribution and you know data sampling, and that is drilled into you. So executives, people with MBAs, they speak the statistical language. And anybody who's a knowledge worker in an office or in a business who expects to interact with executives can expect to be speaking this type of language. It's invaluable.
I see that. Yeah. All right, Deepti, the other thing I would like to understand, you are a trainer and basically you provide in training online mode, virtual classrooms, right? How do you do that? I mean, don't you come across any difficulties? And if there's any difficulty, would you like to highlight what is the difference when you do teaching online versus when you do teaching in class?
That's a very good question, Kumar, right? So definitely when you have online interaction, right, you cannot see the other person gestures. You cannot see how the other person is feeling, right? Whether the person is able to understand what you are talking and whether he's getting bored or he is more excited to learn what's the next topic. You cannot judge all those gestures. So that's like a big disadvantage in online sessions. While in class session, in-person sessions, you can have face-to-face interaction with the students or with the participants. You can know what's their, how they are feeling and what are their gestures and, how looking at their facial expressions, you can make it out whether the topic is getting more complex for them. I should reduce the complexity level or I should maintain the same. But that facility and that leverage is not in online sessions. So basically what I do in online session to make sure that my audience is able to understand what I'm telling them and what I'm teaching them and it's not getting too complex for them, I keep giving quizzes, and assignments in mid of the session. So suppose I taught them a random forest or neural network for, maybe, another 2.5 hours, and then I'll take a small break of 15 minutes and I'll just come up with some quiz or I'll come up with some case scenario, that you are working in such and such industry and you have such and such problem. So tell me what will be your approach to solve that problem. So you don't have to build the algorithm, you don't have to go and build the network there, right? But it helps you to understand the business. It helps you that, oh, I have this problem, so my approach should be like this. My variables which I'll be targeting and which should be significant in my model should be like this. So that gives them that approach. And looking at their answers and looking at the insights which are coming from their end, I can just understand that they are able to engage themselves in the class, and that's a very important thing. So if you are not able to engage the participants in the class, then it's like a disconnect. It's a disconnect between you and between the participants. So I do that quiz and assignments things more frequently in the session, and apart from that, I make sure that if I have 50 or 60 participants in class, I remember their name, I remember their background, I remember how they are performing in class, I remember what is their strength, what is their weakness. So in between I keep talking to them. So they have that, they feel that you are having that personalization, right? So in today's world, I think there is a lot of competition in the market, and every customer is looking for personalization. So where they feel that they are getting personalization, they feel that they are valued, they feel that the trainer care for them, the trainer value, to their time and to their, determinations and their, hard work and whatever they are putting into that particular training. So I do those things also very often, in mid of my sessions, every day, to make sure that, nobody should feel that, we are, logging in the trainings across the globe, and they should not feel that, oh, I'm just here to just, listen a session or a lecture what I'm teaching them, or, learn some coding, right? Whatever platform they are using or whatever platform they have enrolled for. But apart from that, they should have that connection, that emotional connection should also go very well with what they are learning. Once they have that thing, I think they start putting their 100%, and your goal is achieved.
Right. I mean, going online makes your canvas a large one, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Let me take some questions from the viewers out here. Suraj Anand is okay. He is saying raw huge amount of data conversion into information is data science. Yes, Suraj, you are right. Then Ravi Chaube is asking, do you think frameworks like Python will overtake storytelling tools like Tableau and Power BI?
Okay, so I think Ravi is one of my students, if I am able to guess him correctly from his name. So I have already trained him on data science platform using R, Python, and he's a brilliant student. So Ravi, coming back to your question, so Python is definitely a data science platform, and which is definitely used by all the industries across the globe today, because of the very friendly nature of the tool, and it's an open source platform. That's like another advantage. So many organizations, especially the startups and the middle scale firms, who don't feel that going for a commercial tools like MATLAB and SAS and other tools makes big sense for them. They prefer to go for open source platform, and Python definitely plays a very important role. And not only Python, even R is also picking up a very good market when it comes to do a lot of statistic and statistical modeling. People prefer to go for R, and when it comes to a lot of building machine learning algorithms, deep learning, AI, all those things, people prefer to move to Python or platform like TensorFlow and PyTorch. They are also now in demand. But when we talk about Tableau is more into visualization platform. So it's not into a data science thing. So with the help of Tableau, people can build dashboards, and that too interactive and dynamic dashboards, which is the need of industry today. So yes, if you are a data scientist, you have to know Tableau. I'll say yes, because so many times once we have built our algorithm, we have our output, and we have to convey our results. We have to communicate our results to an audience who is not from a technical background. So that time Tableau plays an important role. So we will present our story in a form of a dashboards with the help of Tableau. So the executives and the top management who are not from a technical background can understand very well that how that algorithm or how the results and how the insights are going to help in their business in terms of financial, operation, cost, revenue. It's all about the problem what the organization is facing. So Tableau is not a data scientist tool, I'll say. It's a data visualization tool, more into developing your dashboards and all. But yes, every data scientist, will have Tableau also in their plate. So I hope I answered your question, Ravi.
Is okay. Can Python help you visualize a data? Can you
Yes,
do
so
a
you
custom
can, yeah,
codes?
yeah. So you can visualize data with the help of Python, R, SAS, all these platforms as well, right? You have all the libraries in Python. You have like Seaborn libraries, Matplotlib, R. You have ggplot too, right? So all these libraries are used to build a lot of dashboards and visualization. Even you have Shiny thing in R, right, which helps you building the interactive dashboards and visualization. But being a data scientist, we feel that if we do it in R or Python, which are all programming languages, we have to write down the program to build that visualization and to come up with such dashboards, right? And in today's time, all the tools have that leverage of, setting up the integration, right? So I can easily integrate my Python or my R tool with Tableau tool, right? And easily build the dashboard and present it to the audience, right? Present it to the top management. So I have saved my time of writing that code in Python and R, which might be maybe 1 hour or 1.5 hour of job for me. And I have done exactly the same thing in Tableau in just 5 minutes. So when it comes to time, right, which is like a very important variable, right? So, in that way, I'll say coming to a visualization platform, tools like Tableau, Power BI, Spotfire, they are really picking up a very good market, and they are becoming, and Tableau is definitely becoming a market leader in visualization.
So it's not about they overtaking. Sorry, Tim, you wanted to add something.
I didn't get
Yes.
the question, Kumar.
No, sorry, Tim wanted to add something. I'll ask you something, but Tim.
So back in the dark ages, when I studied programming, I was developing infrastructures. Coding, advanced from assembly language into all sorts of languages like Fortran and Pascal, and then all of a sudden we got C, and then we got C++, and then we got C sharp, and then all of a sudden a lot of fellow traveler corporations said, you know what, there's a need for actually doing this this part of coding that can make it really simple and open it up for business. So it was like an evolutionary development. Do you see the movement from tools like C and C++ and Python and those as the elementary fundamentals where you can actually explore and do it all yourself, and you see these ancillary components being brought in for special use? Do you foresee more and more of that in your in your data science world?
Right. I think we had a similar questions from Suraj Anand. He's asking, Python is an interpreted language. It comparatively takes more time to execute algorithms than C, C++. Can't we have C, C++ library that we can use for decision making using data?
Yeah, so if you see in today's scenario, every I think in few months we have some new platform coming into picture, right? So now more people, they are using TensorFlow, they are using PyTorch, right? So all these platforms are not only just the Python programming is implemented, but you have all your Java and your C++ and all that knowledge is also even required, if you're working on the platform like TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, So I feel if you are in data science platform, we cannot keep ourselves restricted that, hey, I'm learning or I'm working on Python or R or SAS or MATLAB, so I'll be doing the same thing, throughout my life. No, so I feel it's a continuous learning, and I feel because of the lot of data which is generated on daily basis, the technology is quickly shifting, So being a data scientist, you should have that ability to adapt yourself, right? How the technology is changing, you have to adapt yourself, and make sure that, we learn whatever tools are coming in the market. And when I talk about tools, it's only the graphic user interface, it's only the programming which is getting changed. The concept of the algorithm is not getting changed. So for example, if I build a random forest or a neural network using my Python, right? The concept will remain same. How that a random forest algorithm works, what is the background, right? What are dependent variables? How do you identify dependent and independent variables? What is the equation, of that random forest that it works? How you can take care of your overfitting and underfitting part when you are going for your random forest, and why we prefer random forest algorithm as compared to other classification algorithm like logistic and SVM and all, right? So those concepts, right, will remain same. They will not change, right? Whatever platform you use Python, you use R, you use TensorFlow, you use Keras, PyTorch, right? That concept will not change. What will change is only the interface, and definitely if the interface changes, the languages are changing, right? So definitely a programming thing will change. So that's the reason I told in the starting that in data science, one of the pillar is your programming as well, right? So how good programming you can write and how quickly you can, switch your tools and platform, that really helps you in this particular field. But concept never changes. And if you try to compare results even, so we have done so many times in our firm, like we are building the same model in Python, building same in R, building same in SAS. we try to compare the results. So even the output will not be very different. It will be very, very similar to each other, right? So if I'm building a model in this platform and I'm trying to validate my model, and if I see that all the three tools have a big difference, then there is something really wrong with my modeling or with my data part, because output should not be very different. Yes, there will be little differences, but it will be very close because the concept is not changing. Data is not changing. Only the platform is changing. So, being a data scientist, I feel we have to focus more on data part, more on concept part, understand the link and the connection between these things. And I think when it comes to platform, as the world is changing, technology is changing, we are also adapting ourselves, and making sure that we are always open to learn new technologies and new platforms. So I hope I answered your question as well, Suraj.
So this Python overtaking Tableau, I don't think it's that way. It's more of a complementing each other.
Yes.
And then yeah,
Yes.
okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
Tableau is
Now,
not Tableau is not at all data science tool, Kumar. Tableau is more into data visualization tool, and it is more frequently used by the executives who are more into marketing and sales and all this profile, to make sure that they can quickly come up with the analysis and they can see the sales trend and the profit trend and present it in front of an executive. So what used to happen when this Tableau was not in the market, right? Everybody used to depend on data science, that okay, fine, once we will get the output or some analysis from us, right, then they'll be able to present it to their customers and client. Now that dependency has decreased because of Tableau, right? So they can quickly import the data inside Tableau, quickly see the trend, quickly see how their sales and profit is showing an increasing or decreasing across the products. They can quickly build the dashboards and stories, and they can go and present it to their clients and say that, hey, we have such and such product and we have such and such things, and we can come up with so and so analysis. And once they are able to get that business from those client and customer, right, then the real I can say POC work is done, and then that work flows to the data science team, and then data science teams comes into picture, and then they build the models and algorithm and do all the deep dive thing in the data, and then come up with the best strategies for the organization. So that's the reason Tableau is picking up a very good market, and I'll say it's very good thing to have Tableau in your plate if you are a data scientist, because it will help you a lot in terms of dashboards and stories and all. But definitely it's not going to replace Python or R or MATLAB or Keras or PyTorch, any of the platform, guys. No.
right, right. Further, Suraj has put in some more comments here. He's saying, agreed, Deepti, algorithms remain same, but we have lesser algorithms available to use in C++. I think maybe due to complexity.
I can,
Yeah, Tim, go
I
ahead.
can speak to this actually. I did a series of projects with Fortune 100s in the mid 2000s, and we were working with heterogeneous clusters of supercomputers that were made out of a lot of small computers, and we were doing a lot of our network operating system development in C++. And we were doing some really interesting things, but all of a sudden, in Chicago, Illinois, there was a group of scientists who created a corporation. They created some libraries in C and C++. And these libraries automatically created an opportunity for these computers to act like a network. And all of a sudden, you didn't have 30 small computers. You had one big homogeneous supercomputer that you could act just like big IBM Big Iron. And it opened up the industry to basically buy cheap computers and still have the power of big computers. And I'm wondering, again, Deepti, you have greater visibility into this. I'm wondering if that's the same reason that Tableau is powerful, because we could do it in C, C++, and it could probably be much more efficient because C actually works with the physical architecture itself, and where your Tableau and things speak to the needs of the business, and they're answering business problems. And this was the discussion we were having. It's a great engineering platform for C, but does it solve business problems, and it does answer business questions? And that's where the adoption of Java, even though it wasn't the best to do great coding in, it solved business problems.
Right. Right. Yeah, Suraj is further sharing some more details in terms of what he does. So he's a C++ programmer working in a telecommunication industry. He's currently exploring data science algorithms and files
And
to be
that would
used
be
in.
my question for Suraj with his deep dive into C++, would be what are his their experience working with the amount, since R has been out here for a few years, since we've been working with Python with data science. What is the response from the C++ community in developing the libraries and the infrastructure in response to these other languages? Because again, if you do spend time in C, it's a lot more efficient, but at the same time, it's so time consuming.
Right, right. Deepti, tell me something more about the data science. How you think it's going to change in the next 2 or 3 decades? Do you foresee some changes?
Yes, I definitely foresee some changes. Like, can see right now we all are living in a world of data, AI, IoT, right? So I feel in another next, 2, 3 decades, more and more data is going to generate, right? So if you see terabytes and petabytes of data already getting generated, right? Maybe in next 2 to 3 decades, we'll have data in zettabytes and all. And when we will have more and more data getting generated, I feel there can be few challenges which will come in terms of data security, which is like a very important and critical part when we talk about data, that how secure we can keep our data. So in today's time, we see because of all the cloud platform, like we have from AWS and Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Platform, everybody is able to store their data in the cloud platform. And some industries, especially like banking and healthcare, where we have a lot of regulatory compliances, right? We don't feel to put all our data in cloud platform, right? So there is some sensitive data which is always, we always make sure that it's in our premises, instead of going to the cloud platform. So I definitely see that next 2 to 3 decades, this thing will definitely change, because we will have more and more data, and how we are going to store that data in our cloud platform, making sure that we have security of our data, that is definitely going to change. And one another thing which I'm um, expecting, right, that next 2 to 3 decades we will have more of automated things. We will be moving more towards AI world. So we already have the AI things right now. We can see we have self-driving cars, we have chatbots, we have robots, right? But next to 3 decades, I feel AI will be capturing, or will be I can say will be taking control of the industries like even healthcare, right? So I was looking into a very interesting articles 2 3 months before that the AI can even make the life of doctors easier. So once a patient is diagnosed with a cancer, or with a heart attack, right, or with a with any deadly diseases, they can take the help of robots. So robots will be doing surgery, instead of doctor performing surgery on the patients for their heart attack and for the cancers and all. So I sometimes feel it's very fascinating, it's very intriguing, but sometimes it's very scary as well, right? Because I'm not sure how comfortable I'll be tomorrow to get my surgery done from the robot as compared to the doctors, right?
Well,
So
and again, this duplicates a lot of other general areas of knowledge. You have the focus on how do I do this data science,
yes.
And then as that matures, all of a sudden the question and the focus becomes, how do I use this data and this data science effectively? And so I'm wondering if as we mature in our technology and our understanding of managing data and using the tools the management of the data and the tools themselves are going to become more and more abstract, and they'll become back behind the curtains while we're working more on what are the big questions that we need to ask this pool of data now that I have more control over it.
So I totally agree with him, so that's another thing which I'm really expecting in next 2-3 years, like next 2 to 3 decades, that we will have more, like we will be moving more towards AI part. And third thing, I feel right now I see a lot of confusion, so there is not much clarity when it comes to data science, right? I see so many times when the hiring happens and when the candidates approach you for the interviews and all, and if they ask me any questions in training and all, I see there is less clarity on that part. People get confused most of the time between data science, data engineering, data analysis, data visualization, big data, because all these terms sounds very similar, but actually they are not. So data science is very different from data engineering. It's very different from data analysis, data visualization. All of the roles, all of the profiles, they have their own roles, own roles and responsibilities, and all the different platforms, they requires different skills. And I feel at present that clarity is not there in the market. So I am sure that in next 2 to 3 decades, organizations and even the employers, they will be able to identify the exact differences between these profiles, and they will be able to understand that what they are looking for in the organization, and what are their projects, and what type of candidate they have to hire from market. And I feel because of this because of this confusion, this dilemma, there is a lot of attrition in this profile also. So many times the companies hire data scientists, but their requirement was data engineering. They want someone who can work on their data pipelines and help them in the production, all those environment, right? But they are in a dilemma of these profile. There is always a confusion, and because of that, when they do a wrong recruitment, instead of data scientist they hire a data engineer, or instead of data engineer they hire a data scientist. It can be vice versa, right? There is a always a big dilemma, and because of that I see a lot of attrition in this particular industry as well. So I feel, next 2 to 3 decades, we will be out of this dilemma, and everybody will be able to understand, that, okay, I need data scientists, so I have these skills, and these skills should be matched. I'm going to hire the person. I need data engineer, the skills are this, I need to hire the person accordingly, So that dilemma, that confusion which is existing in today's time across the industries and across the globe, I think that's going to disappear, in next 2-3 decades, when we will become more and more aware of the data, and when we'll have most of the things which will be moving towards the automated part like AI and all.
Do you say that someday data science will take over the brain, or has it already done it?
That's a very interesting question, but I don't agree on that part. What I feel, that's like a fear with everyone in the industries nowadays. Even when I'm training students, the participants, they even come up with that question. Deepti, do you think we will lose our job? Do you think we will be laid off? Do you think we will go and follow? These types of questions are very common, but I don't agree. I feel data science or AI, it augments human intelligence, So we are the people, right? What is machine learning? Machine learning is you are making your system or your machine to learn, right? What is AI? AI is like human beings, like, or machines, right? They act like human being, right? They think like human being. That's artificial intelligence, right? So unless and until we don't drive those machines, right, to come up with such type of output, right, they'll be not able to perform. I agree that in today's time we are able to build smart robots, right, who can perform each and everything from agriculture industry to healthcare industry to retail industry. We see we have smart robots who are making the life of people easier. And I agree that people are losing job also, but the people who are losing job, they are losing the job at the ground level, right? Nobody is losing the job at the top level who need to manage those machines and who need to understand those machines and train those machines and feed those machines with the appropriate and the data which is accurate and which is reliable. So I don't feel that machines will replace human brains. Yes, they are equally becoming smart as human brains, but replacement will never happen. That's
So-
Tim,
my,
what is
that's
your
my
take on this?
personal
Yeah.
suggestion.
So to say it another way is the data science and the data engineering and the data visualization are helping us understand the patterns in data, but it's going to be a long time before they can actually help us understand what's the right question to ask and how do I actually use this data to solve my problems. And that's a long ways out. Yeah, it's the skills are going to change, but the
Yes.
problems that we're using to solve this is great. It's and again, in management and leadership, we understand data science does not make decisions. It validates that the decisions we're making are better. It supports better decision making, and that's just a general understanding from data. And Deepti, you said it from an architecturally and from an implementation standpoint at the data level much more better than I could.
Thank you, Tim.
Got you. No, right. I mean, that just made me curious a little bit when Deepti mentioned about getting operated by machine. You see, all right.
Don't you think like it's fascinating, right? It's really
Oh,
fascinating, right?
it's terrifying. I'll tell you what. This is terrifying. It's
30 years ago, we were terrified by cars that could drive themselves.
Yes. and I have like that's in my bucket list, that I'm going to get a self-driving car very soon and going to understand in and out of AI by doing the practicals, in that self-driving car.
Yeah. You have to take me out for a drive, Deepti, once you take
Sure,
that.
Kumar. Sure, if you're
And
comfortable, a machine driving you.
all right, wonderful. Soumya Siddharth has a question. Looks like Soumya is uh, pursuing data science as a career. So he is asking how to ace in data science, and then any good resources you would suggest to learn machine learning and data science out there.
Can you repeat the question once again, Kumar? I missed the first line of the question.
Right. So basically, Soumya Siddharth, his question is, if someone were to consider a career of a data science, so I'm just collating those questions, what he asked. So if someone were to consider a career in data science, what you would like to tell them today? Is there any resource available which you would like to reference, which Soumya and other people can go ahead and refer?
Okay, so that's a very good question, Soumya. So I will just say there is a lot of resource available online, right? If you just go to bootcamp and you just go to any of the Python open source community or R or SAS, right? You see a lot of resources is available there, right? But every time that resource will not be helpful unless and until you don't see that it is targeting your real-time scenarios, right? What happens in industries, theory always helps, but practical is 95% applied, right? So unless and until you don't see a real-time scenario, you don't see a problem which is coming, based on the industries in real-time scenarios, it becomes little difficult, for a person to approach that problem, right? I might be knowing a theory of random forest neural network very well, right? But unless and until I don't apply that thing in a real-time scenario, in a real-time data, right? And do end-to-end project on that particular thing, from training your model, validating your model, taking care of your production part and all, you don't get a complete knowledge about that particular case. So looking online, referring to all these, websites definitely helps you a lot in terms of theory part. But when it comes to practical, I always suggest try to get, any project in your organization which deals with a lot of data, try to build a model, try to build an algorithm, right? And try to talk with your managers or with your senior directors or vice president in the organization and help them understand that how this data can help them in taking their business decision effectively, right? So I think doing that part, you will be able to connect, your theory, right, knowledge, what you have learned from, n number of resources to the practical thing in real time scenario. And once you start connecting that, you will see a big change. And it just needs one initiative. If you have done one project like that, you will automatically know how to apply that logic and how to apply those techniques and those algorithms in other projects also and in other data sets also. So I always feel theory definitely helps you, but theory without practical is not very effective. So I hope I answered your question, Soumya.
Right. Suraj has further put in a comment. You are right, Suraj. What Suraj is saying is, due to the 5G internet technology, which has evolved and which will further evolve, the big data storage servers and quantum computers that will be used to compute these data, there will more okay that will be more effective and accurate use of historical data in different fields like medical science, real-time data streams to take decisions based on environment. Example, traveler's car. You are right, Suraj. Yeah. With time it's gonna evolve, and it will only evolve. Deepti, I would like to ask you another questions, and I would like to take you a little bit into the quality part of the data science. What are the data challenges faced by a data scientist in terms of the data quality and accuracy? Since you are a data scientist, so you can answer this.
That's a very good question, and I'll say the most important part of data science. So we deal with tons and tons of data, right? And we talk a lot about machine learning algorithms, AI, and deep learning, but those all are step two. Our step one is how we can prepare that data, how we can clean that data, scrub that data, manipulate that data, go for the feature selection, do the feature engineering, normalization, standardization. So these are some of the terms: handling the missing values, taking care of outliers. So these are so many factors, we have to consider before we move into model building part. So when we talk about data quality and accuracy, it's extremely, extremely important, right? When we talk about data, we talk about 4 V's. We talk about volume, velocity, variety, and value. And honestly speaking, value is a V, which is very, very important. A lot of organizations, they have tons and tons of data, but that data sits at their server, without getting any like it's not getting used. So the value from that data is not generated. So unless and until any organization is not able to generate that V, that value from the data, and not able to put that data in a usable format, right? It's not going to, help them in their decision making, or, in making sure that they can reduce their operation costs or increase their revenue and take care of their customers' behavior part or their customers' patterns part. So talking about data quality and accuracy, that's most important part and most important step which every data scientist look into. So once we are done with scrubbing, cleaning, manipulation, right, where we spend our 70 to 80% of time, right? So I have a data, and I know now I have a data which is reliable, right? I can rely on that data, and my organization executives and top management, they can rely on that data. So I can say my 70 to 80% of job is done, right? And I know that now that data is in usable format. Then I move to step two, which is about model building and testing and validation, and then it goes to step three, which is basically the production. So if you look into the whole process, right, if your step one is not good, if you don't have a quality and accurate data, right, a data which you can rely, your step two, which is your algorithm part, and step three, production part, it's not going to help you. So data quality and accuracy is extremely, extremely critical for all the organization. And I feel before we talk about any algorithms, any machine learning algorithms, we have to always make sure that we have our data ready where everyone can rely and it is 100% accurate.
So what you're talking about, Deepti, is more of the utilization, data utilization part of it.
Okay, so
What is the strategy that, yeah, sorry, what is the strategy of that you suggest or that you follow when it comes to data utilization part?
okay, so that's another very good question, and I feel this question and the first questions are interconnected. So when we talk about data utilization, right, we have to understand how we can utilize that data, right? Any industry, whether it's retail or telecom or banking or aviation, we should know how to utilize that data, right? So building the virtual lab environment definitely helps the organization to utilize the data in a better way. Because if you have a facility or virtual data lab environment, so the employees who are not even from data science background, but they want to fiddle with the data, they want to play with the data, they can easily do that without messing with the data which is in the production environment. So that's one of the things. Another thing is making it centralized, right? I see in a lot of organization, same data coming from same department is in different silos. So we have to kill that silos, So instead of having the same data coming from the same department, and it is stored in different systems and making different silos, if we can kill that silos and make a centralized system where anyone can go and extract the data, pull the data and do the analysis and come up with their modeling and all, that will make the life of people easier. But when we talk about making the data centralized, we have to take care of data security also. We have to make sure that that access is given to the team who is required to get access to that platform, because that's another important part which is ignored by sometimes in organizations, that they feel, okay, fine, we have a centralized system, but they forget that that data should be secure, that data should be followed with some rules and protocols. And especially in the industries like banking and healthcare, we have a lot of regulatory compliances. So if I'm working in a risk team, I will not have access to a data to the team who is working in solvency a platform, right? So that thing should be properly managed, right? And if we are able to do that and then able to create a centralized system, I think it will increase the utilization of the data by everyone in the organization. Then
Right.
third thing,
Tim, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
and then the third thing, making everything definitely automated, right? So if we can make our codes and our programs in an automated mode, right, definitely it will help, organization to utilize the data in a more effective way. And last but not the least, I'll talk about data, story, right? How well you can create a story and how nicely you can express your thoughts and put those things in a visual form, right? So more and more people in an organization can start understanding the importance of data, right? Will definitely be a important or you can say a important trend you will see in your organization. So when it comes to data utilization, I say it's all how the leaders of an organization, they can educate, they can empower their employees, and make sure that each and everybody understand the importance of data and how they can put that data in a way that they can find the hidden patterns from that data.
Right. Tim, would you like to add your comments to this?
Oh, I have visions of talking to a lot of clients over the years. Where is this data that you want to be querying on a daily basis? Well, we have 2,000 admins, and they have a little server plugged into their personal computer, and we thought you could just connect to all these things. And getting the data into a manner that you can start asking it questions is so much more of the effort than actually putting the queries together and looking at the answers. Yeah, that's am I collecting enough data? Am I collecting the right data? Am I preserving the data? And these are the things that you have to be in place solid, and changing the culture. The way you can't just go down to a computer store and buy a storage that connects to your computer from now on. It changes the whole corporation when you start adopting these things.
True, true. All right, it's already time, man, but I'll take another 5 minutes. And Deepti, this question is important. I know you have another meeting to attend, but this question is important. I would like to talk a little bit about your book, which you have written. You are also an author. Uh, can you please help us understand about that book? What made you write that, and where people can go ahead and find it, and how it's actually helping people who are trying to pursue data science as a career, or they're already into a career of data science?
Okay, um, so I'll say Kumar. When I started writing book, I was in a big dilemma whether I'll be able to finish this 400 pages book or not, right? But finally, I did it in 2.5 years. And the publisher of my book is Appress Media, Springer publisher, which is a New York-based publisher. And book is available in all the platform: Amazon, eBay, Flipkart, Barnes and Noble, and I think, yes, these are the platforms, and even in the publisher's website, which is Appress and Springer. So whoever is interested, definitely they can just go and explore about the book there. Name of my book is Applied Analytics through Case Studies Using SAS and R and Implementing Predictive Models and Machine Learning Algorithms. And I have targeted the audience while writing the book. People who are looking for transition in their career towards data science field, and even the people who are already in the field, they are coming from a stats background and have a good industrial and domain knowledge. Even that book is targeted to such type of audience as well. And while writing the book, I shared my own experiences, like when I started my career and when I started working in projects in this particular book, what type of challenges I faced and how I tackled those things. And I have explained 6 industries in the book, which are all based into real-time case scenarios like banking and healthcare and airline, FMCG, retail, where audience will know that how in real-time scenarios the problems are faced by these industries, what type of data is generated, and what are the solutions, what are the techniques data scientists use to approach those problems. So I feel that book is really helping a lot of audience across the globe. And luckily, I got even an email from a publisher yesterday that I have sold almost 500 copies of the book. So that was really a good sigh of relief for me that, hey, I am able to see 2.5 years of hard work, putting that book, which is really coming into a good shape right now. So yeah. So thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'll pick one for myself as well. It's available on Amazon, isn't it?
Thank you.
Right. Wonderful. All right. So it's time now. If you are curious to know what we're going to talk on the Monday show, yes, me and Tim will be talking on the education. We will discuss on education. So yeah, uh, keep tuned in, and we can hear out there what we talk on the education. We'll take you a little bit of history, and then we'll talk about the current scenario, and possibly Tim will give you a little details on how the future looks like in terms of education stuff. With this, Deepti, what a wonderful discussion we had. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
It was. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Kumar. It was my pleasure to be part of this particular platform, and I really look forward for more and more discussions on data science and project management platforms, even. So, thank you so much. It was
Yeah,
my
I'm sure
pleasure to be in this platform.
Yeah, I'm sure there would be more questions coming in the way the Suraj, Soumya, and other people has asked in people any questions you have, please send it to my email ID. My email ID is Kumar Kumar at ijonaservices.com, and we would like to take those questions in our next discussions when uh, uh, Deepti allowed me to get this platform uh, online next time.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thanks, Kumar. Thank you, Tim. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you
evening.
all. You
Have a
too.
Yeah,
wonderful
it's
day, Tim, and have a wonderful evening, Kumar. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepti, and you enjoy your day. Tim, I can already see the sun falling on your face, so enjoy a beautiful, bright and sunny day. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Tim
Yeah.
is looking for more sunshine.
Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Deepti and Tim.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kumar. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Take care.